What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for running down to the pier ad, chucking a bucket of whitewash over all the pigeons and saying, there you are, how do you like it? Ha ha!
So coming up in part 2, we've got more cake-making drama, more jokes and more stuff from Harry Hill, Lee Mack and Miriam Margolyes.
You got it right.
I got it right for once.
Any real actor or artist will tell you that it's that golden thread that binds the audience with the stage, which makes the theatre so vital and important.
When a comedian performs to a live audience and they're sitting in front of you, it's a relationship. And so it's a one-off thing that night. We can't go, right, let's just stop and start again. And the second you walk out, it starts. And when you walk off, that's the end of it. And the two of you, they say the two of you, you and the audience are together.
Oh, well, it's that thing of all being together. A whole mass of people all looking and being intent on a smaller mass of people standing on the stage, and actually the emotions, whether it be a comedy where laughter is wonderful and it's infectious, and a whole theatre can be rocking with laughter. I mean, Kenny got whole theatres rocking with laughter better than anybody else I know. But also, if you're watching a straight play or a tragedy or whatever, again, it's this extraordinary sharing of your emotions, or the emotions that are evoked by those wondrous creatures called actors on the stage.
Well, the great thing about an audience is simply that there are people in a space who don't know each other, but they've all come there for one common ground. And that one common ground is to watch something, get something from it, and experience that moment together. And that generally means information, knowledge, and laughter. And that bonds people. People of different ages, different backgrounds, different cultures, different socio-economic backgrounds. It encompasses a lot of things. When you're performing live, you are your own self-censor, you are your own director, the audience are your orchestra, and you are the orchestra leader. You can take them wherever you want to go, bring them in, bring them down, bring them up again, nab them here, and take them one way, then misdirect them. Oh wow, to have that power. And nothing beats a live audience. Nothing beats that sound of people genuinely having a great time.
I think it's just the fact that it's just so, and particularly nowadays, there's just nothing's real anymore. Everything's digitalized, everything's on a screen. Even, we look at our kids, talk to our kids on a screen. Everything is not real and in the moment. And that is the ultimate in being in the moment, is being live. You shut the door and everything exists, particularly before the days of people mobile phoning your act. It was for a one night only thing, and it would never happen again.
In the theatre, you create an electrical circuit in the rehearsal room. It isn't complete. It's marvelous, it's wonderful. But that element of a live audience is an electrical circuit. And it would be like trying to ride a horse remotely. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's like chalk and cheese, really. If you watch a comedian on television, you're getting, you're getting maybe 30% of the experience. There's something about you're in the room with that person, and so they are a kind of light shines out of them in a way that you can't get on TV. Ken did a bit of audience participation, and would respond to, I think famously he would tailor his act to the town and the venue. If anyone watching this has never been to see a comedian live, I'm not saying this is an advert for me, but obviously please buy a ticket. If you've never been to see live comedy, buy a ticket and go, because in the clubs, not just the theatres, but the clubs, it's just a really great, relatively cheap night out. You won't be paying the sort of price you have to pay for Cats.
But it is that golden thread that actors and a comedian and anybody who works in front of the public needs, longs for. It nourishes us. And however wonderful it is to go on to film and to go on to television, mechanical media, darling, it doesn't do it. Just doesn't do it.
Yeah, there is nothing like live theatre, and particularly in this theatre, because you must know, when they want to say something back to you, they let you know. I remember when I did Jigsy, and you know, there's a bit at the end where he collapses, kind of, and it looks like he's collapsed and died. And there was a bloke over there, and he went, "That's good." They get involved,
Yeah.
the audience here, but they get involved in a really good way.
Oh yeah, because I got slagged off once when I was introducing myself off stage
Right.
for the Variety Club, which is like my gig. I host it every month.
Yeah.
And I did the big, you know, showbiz entrance on the side, on the mic, hidden from the audience, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Sam Avery." And I just heard over the applause, I had this old Scouse woman just shout, "Oh bloody hell, not him again," which was the start of the show. So I just had to walk out and kind of, but even that was meant in a really friendly way. So, you know, it's like encouraging that next generation
Yeah.
as well, which is
It's
taking
delightful.
us back to
Yeah.
the joke competition. So now it's time to have a look at jokes 3 and jokes 2. That's a weird way of saying it, isn't it?
I like to arrange my herbs in alphabetical order. People ask me, where do I find the thyme? I say, it's right next to the sage.
What call a cow got hiccups? I don't know. What do you call a cow with hiccups? Milkshakes.
Great jokes, and I want to give a special shout out to Ricky Tomlinson, who helped judge the competition. And do you know what his wife said when we sent all the jokes through to him to judge?
Rita, what did she say?
Rita said, "Oh, that's great, he needs some new material," which is just brilliant, isn't it? So this is now a sweatshop for Ricky's gags. So if you want to see them again, just go and see him next year live somewhere, and I'm sure he'll be repeating them.
made up.
He will be made up. Moving on, now it's time to look at when Lady Dodd went to meet a very special young man from Liverpool who'd been invited to speak to the United Nations.
I'm going to meet an exceptional young man in this library, which was a very special place for Ken. From being a young boy, Ken would love to visit the Picton Reading Room throughout his life and spent many, many happy hours in here. It's a beautiful room, which is why I was so pleased when they said they would like to place his bust right in the centre. And it feels as if he's still here. St Vincent's is a special school for visually impaired children, which is near to our home, and Ken got to know the headmaster.
It's lovely to share some of the stuff that Sir Ken did for us when he said, "Do use my name to connect people." The conversation with Sir Ken was about creativity and how creativity can link humour with real-world issues and education. We talked about VI humour. It is very different because most jokes are all about sighted things, aren't they? That sets off a whole range of ideas. We had an idea and we said, you know what, one of our pupils is writing a peace essay and he wants to connect the Sir Ken statue with statues around Liverpool. It's a great idea.
Yes.
So we had a whole load of conversations which fed into our lessons, our creative writing lessons about how humour could link and how the Sir Ken Dodd statue could link other statues around the city. What would the message be? And that's when Ken said, you know, well, actually, humour, if you can make people laugh, you can make people listen. Unfortunately, Joe really picked up that creative links and he formed the whole story, The Journey for Peace.
I looked at a world in conflict. Who could help me answer a question? How could we solve the world's problems? There seems no way as we fight each other in our neighborhoods, cities, and countries for so many reasons. How can we journey to save our forests and our oceans without putting peace first? I looked at my city, Liverpool, and wondered, who could help me answer my peace question? I went to a city gateway, Lime Street train station, and asked the statue of the great entertainer, Sir Ken Dodd, how can we find peace? I felt he said to me, share laughter, laugh together, happiness is a key. I looked up at the liver bird statues, a symbol of our city, at a gateway to the ocean. I asked them, How can we find peace? I felt they said. We can see across the world and time. We can see the Statue of Liberty. Many people look at what is different, not the same. Find what is the same and come together there. This is a key. I went to the statue of John Lennon and asked, how can we find peace? I felt he said to me, give peace a chance. This is a key. I wondered, if just one person did just that, would others do the same? Could I be that mustard seed in which things grew? Could my voice be heard? I went to the statue of Noel Shavas, who sacrificed himself in the Great War, winning the highest award for bravery, the Victoria Cross, twice. I asked him, how can we find peace? I felt he said, do what is right, help others, learn from the mistakes of history that we paid for in blood. Use your voice and strengths to help others and let them learn. This is a key. I stopped at the statue of John Hulley, a founder of the modern Olympics. I asked him, how do we find peace? I felt he said to me, sports are a way to come together and celebrate what is the same, while having fun, keeping healthy and making friends. This is a key. My journey to find an answer was complete. I looked at all my keys. Although I am visually impaired, I can lead the way, and my voice can be heard. I can bring others together. I may not see you well, the color of your face or the clothes you wear, but I think I can help the world find peace from my example. As Gandhi said, there is no pathway to peace. Peace is the pathway. Let me lead you along that path. Let us come together in things like music and sports to see that we are the same. From there, we can help each other and work together to make a safer, better world. We all have the keys.
And he's just 13 years old, wow.
It's incredible.
Amazing.
Incredible, isn't it? But without further ado, I think it's time to get back to the kitchen and find out if these cakes are going to make the grade or will they end in tears.
Will they end? Tears for souvenirs are all I left you. What a link. Okay, guys, let's stop baking. Pressure's on.
Now's the time to decorate.
Come on, let's go.
Chefs Dave and James have completed their cakes and jams for their Doddy Day Jam Butty bakes. Now the pressure is on.
So I've made quite an airy sponge to represent a slice of bread, slice of white bread, and then buttercream and jam in between each layer. So this is one half of the jam butty. This is the one without the gelatine, so it's a little bit softer. This is the buttercream.
James's cake is coming together nicely. Let's see how Dave is doing.
Basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut these into triangles from the jam butties. We'll have to say that with all the spices we added through, say the wholemeal jam butties. And I'm going to work on my fondant diddy man. I'm going to do Nigel Ponsonby's small piece lying in bed. This isn't finished yet, but it's I basically rolled out some pink fondants. Nigel has quite wavy hair, so black hair, so I've done his hair there. We're hoping to do a top hat by the bed as well. Basically just rolled it out and shaped it by hand, nothing elaborate.
So I'm making a tickle stick here, so I'm using wafer paper. I'm using a colour tint, so it's a dry powder that can be used dry, and I'm doing a three colour, the classic white, red and blue, and I'm going to feather them. I'm going to cut them into very fine strips, use an edible glue and then stick them around a wooden stick, and this is going to be a feather duster.
A feather duster? It's called a tickling stick. Don't think Lady Anne will be too pleased about that slip up. Things are starting to take shape.
Jam is quite loose, so I don't mind if it runs down the sides a little bit. I used to be really into stand-up comedy when I was younger, and so obviously when you're looking at different comedians, Ken Dodd, towering figure, what really inspired me the most was his giggle map back then. I couldn't believe he'd go around the country and he'd write down every joke in different places, and he'd have one work in Liverpool and Manchester. Make some bunting, which will have musical notes on to represent Ken Dodd's musical career. Because one of the things when I was researching Ken Dodd, I didn't realise he was like #1 pop star during the 60s, outselling the Beatles at a certain point.
Now that's what you call a diddy loaf.
I might be finished early. This is my slightly thicker jam because I've made a template to sit underneath the top one, and it will sit just on the dials, and that will support the weight of that without squashing the jam out to the sides.
Right, that's it. Time's up, boys.
Okay, chefs, step away from the cakes, please. Step away from the cakes.
Well, I tell you what, they're looking amazing, and they would definitely get a Paul Hollywood handshake, I think.
I would say so. Wouldn't you love to be a cake judge?
Yeah,
I'd just
that would be great, wouldn't it?
I'd be like 78 stone. I just would never be finished with the judging. And if you want to find out how the cakes get on and also hear more jokes from Harry Hill and Lee Mack, just click the link below for part 3.
That's part 3. Click.